Uh, Kicking it back off here, streaming a new one here. Part of the reason why I've come back into this game is because it came to my attention. Let me adjust these audio volumes here. It came to my attention that previously on my video, I did not have the game audio turned up, so you weren't hearing anything that was being said by the game. So I've created a brand new character and started him from the powerhouse. I've already running through the tutorial, got his powers and everything. He's a little bit different than the last guy. This is not a sword wielding guy at all. As a matter of fact, what we have here is kind of my take on a bestial sort of claws regeneration fighting type guy. He's not the single blade guy that we had previously. But I've been wanting to kind of create this guy for a while. One of my favorite character in DC, other than Nightwing. Nightwing is my top tier character. I like him the most. Is Lobo, and so I had the idea that I would create a my own cross version of an alien or otherworldly bestial creature that had claws and regeneration and was sort of a biker-esque sort of dude. Uh, what I've done with his travel power is I gave him acrobatics instead of like in the other one, um, the blade guy. What did we give him? I forget how he was getting around. Teleport. Yeah, he was a teleporter because he's kind of ninja vanish and teleport around and whatnot. So this guy I created, I named him Riot. He's a biker with a violent attitude, uh, black tribal tattoos on him, um, black leather. He's wearing, you know, your basic everyday biker gear with chaps and a knife on his hip, combat boots, chain around his waist with a spiked skull. He has glowing red eyes, just the pupils glow bright red. The sclera, which is what you call the white of a person's eye, is just a dark red with just a soft glow to it, so that it doesn't stand out quite as much as the glowing red pupil. Uh, and yeah, I know that's almost a direct theft from Lobo, but like I said, he is one of my favorite characters in the DC comics, and I'm the old school Lobo, not that new pansy they created in the new 52. That guy was oh my god, that was a bad idea. But anyway, so I've already set up my keybinds and I've got his powers going up. He's already at level 6, as you can see, and I'm gonna redo the missions that I did with the blade guy, and this time you guys should be able to hear what's going on. Whoa. All right, so as I said the last time, I'm going to go over here and just dump this mission in with him, because the drifter is just kind of a simple deal. I'll show you the store here. He's got all this junk here that you can pick up, and I don't ever do any of this stuff. It's optional. It's fun. It's not something that you have to avoid. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see it over me. Oops, I missed. There we go. So it's optional, it's fun, it's not something that, you don't have to avoid this. If you're something that you're interested in, go for it. But this is more about crafting things and building little side things to help power your hero up. And I have always found, for me, that it wasn't really that necessary. I like to solo through things. So that's the end of that guy. We'll go over here to this fella. I'm going to speak to him real quick. So with him I can sell stuff, and I'm going to sell those 2 items. I've got 34 national and 94 local. Is that what it was? Yeah, local. So I don't think that's going to be quite enough for what I really want to do for this guy. Real quick, I'm going to show you something else that we didn't do in the last game because, well, I was a teleporter and I had no real use for this. This guy, however, is kind of an acrobatics guy, and in order to get around town a little bit better, I'm going to see how much it would cost me to purchase a vehicle. So if I wanted to get, you can see over there to the right in the black area with the it's got the yellow and well, I think it's supposed to be chrome, but it's yellow and blue biker looking thing. That guy, I can't afford it, right? These are chariots. Let's go down to grav bikes. Here we go. Put this right here for now. So that one's okay. I don't know about the dagger. That's kind of cool. The diamondback. I kind of like the look of this bike, except for the flag thing coming out of its tailpipes. Doesn't make sense for my guy. Okay, that's a cool looking bike. It's called the Frostburn. Oh, there's the Hawk. That's the Hawk 2. Hornet, it's not showing me. I don't know if I can... Kinetic's grav bike. Kinetic is one of the heroes in Champions from the role-playing game, the tabletop role-playing game that we talked about in the last video, and I don't know if anybody didn't see that. Champions Online is based on a game that was Cryptic Studios purchased a tabletop role-playing game, the rights and everything, just bought the whole game outright, so they own... basically, they own Champions Hero Games, which is a very crunchy rule system to do tabletop playing. It's something that I grew up with in the 80s. I played all the time, and it's very malleable. You can create any type of hero, or really you can go fantasy with magic and adventure and stuff. You can go sci-fi. You can go superheroes. You pick any number of genres to play with that system. The only downside is because of how crunchy the rule system is, it gets very slow when combat arrives, especially if you have multiple players at the table. If you have, if you've got 2 or 3 players, you're probably going to be okay. Probably. If you've got anything from 4 to 8 players or more in Champions Heroes, you're going to have a bad day. It's going to be hours long just to complete the combat that you've gotten into. That doesn't include exploring whatever other parts of your story that you were hoping to get go into. So, not something that I recommend overall for that. Some of these just don't show up. Kind of like that guy too. That's the Luminescent. Mantis. That's pretty cool looking. Oni 2. It's the Mark II grav bike. Raptor. Shuriken. That's kind of cool looking. that one as much. See, I like the idea that whatever bike I'm sitting in, I'm going to sit back in it and put my feet forward. And I don't think they really do that. Most of the bikes that you see are like, you can see how in this bike over here, the one in the black thing, you can see how the guy kind of sitting hunched over. It's more of a sport bike feel for the seating position. And I want something a little more cruiser style. I think the Shuriken 2 don't like the Copperhead. Frostburn 2 or the Shuriken 2. And they're both very similar in their look. And you can actually make some changes, some adjustments to them once you've purchased them. And it says you do not have enough for Frostburn, but it doesn't give me a price on these things. So Hawkwing grab bike. These are supposed to be cars. That's kind of interesting. I don't like the look though. Okay, those are ships that you get inside of. These are chariots that you stand in, and it'll fly you around. These are hard to say because they don't really show you on the side there. Flower power. Oh, you can sit in a budding flower and float around. I have a friend that used to play City of Heroes with me a lot, and he had a character that would definitely buy one of those and cruise around in it if you had it. I won't give away his name because it was a really cool one. So these are the gliders. I don't kind of like those. Those are kind of ugly. These are all. And then there's the grav bikes I showed you. The Hawkwings. Hover cars are kind of. You can't get a good look at those up close, I don't guess. Interstellar. So they just use the same basic shape and just change the colors on them. Rockets. They look like horses. Scorpion. They don't show any of the pictures on the side on that. A sleigh. That's kind of like Santa's sleigh. I get it. But the cool thing about these, once I've got some resources built up, we'll come back and get one of these grav bikes, and you'll see it lets you get around town with the ability of flight, but it costs you resources instead of level up XP. But for right now, since I don't have that kind of scratch, we're going to go see Kodiak. And we'll run through the Purple Gang missions again. And if you've already seen some of this stuff, you don't really need to worry about it too much. Incidentally, I have already taken regeneration with this guy because, well, you saw what it did for our other sword-wielding guy. And with this one, the idea was to be a little more Wolverine kind of type deal, right? So he's fingered claws, which I could show you. All right, I'm just taking those missions real quick, and we'll get started on that. But let me do C. Oops, that's not C. That's G. Hold on. C. This is costume, right? So you can get a look at what he looks like. Kind of zoom in on the skull there on his belt. I don't think he ever opens his fists in this particular thing, but if he did, you'd see that he had clawed. There's in the costume selection kit, there are short gloves available, and then if you go further down, there's short gloves with claws. If you take short gloves with claws and then go into the drop-down menus below that, you can take, these are fingerless gloves, biker's fingerless gloves, like which made sense for him, kind of a fighting type dude. And then you can see in the description that I gave him, he's not sure where he came from, filled with rage. That should be and brief. Put a space between those. And brief memories of fighting in some arena. He believes in justice for the innocent, but laws of men are less than useful in his opinion. Better to let someone like him off the chain. The police are hampered by the chain that the police are hampered by, and let the chaos bring its own forms of justice. Riot fears nothing save the loss of innocent life. He's covered in black tattoos and leathered skin. He heals fast. He thinks the color of his skin may be stains from his cloudy past. If you find yourself on his bad side, you are caught between a rock and a violent end to your very lives. So, that's the, I'll hit set description because I did make a change. That's the storyline I wrote up for this guy. So now, we go back and do what we did before. Go ahead, shoot at me, I don't care. So the objective in this one, and I know you guys have already seen this happen, but what you didn't get was the audio on some of the stuff that happened. So if I go a little fast through this, it's because obviously I knew that you'd already seen most of it. So I've already finished one of the missions, and that's the sound that you hear when the mission finishes. And that's the one that's saving the restaurant racketeering. Excuse me. But if you look, I've only defeated 6 out of the 12 purple gang that I need to beat up. So that's why I will continue down this street. You guys are in trouble. I'll take the energy there. I've only got 2 more guys I need to drop, and there goes one of them. Alright, so from that, the only reason why I'm running down this side of the sidewalk is so I don't have to fight those other guys when I go back to Kodiak and drop the mission off. Drop off both of these missions. This guy is a combination of dex, strength, and recovery. So I have his energy build goes up pretty quick. So if I pick, let's say I can go dex, there's recovery and constitution. I think I'll take that one. Alright, so I level up. I take the other 2 missions. So, one of the missions that ends up, and you saw what he did in the backflips. So when you're an acrobat and instead of running backwards, if I hit the backwards button like I want to move back, he does this kind of I forget what they call them, flip-flop or whatever. Also, I got the fusion-powered modifications thing again. I'm just going to leave that up there, even though we're not going to do it. The one that we're going to go after right now is going to be 3, which is thick as thieves. And like I told you last time, part of the reason why I go to this one first is because I know where it comes out. Whoop. All right. I don't have a ranged attack on this one, so I'm going to have to just try to run up there and catch this dude. Luckily, with... So now I'm going to have all 3 of these guys behind him shooting at me too. But the bonus side to this guy is, unlike our blade fella who waited for a couple of levels before he switched over to the other side, this guy here's already got his regeneration, so he is not at all worried about a couple of bullets from the peanut gallery, we'll say. All right, pick that up. When I get over here, I'll go through this other animation. So I gave this guy a little boost in strength when he was in the powerhouse, not a giant one. But see that piece of debris there? Okay, he's not strong enough to pick it up yet, or I'd get the little pop-up that says pick up debris. Let's go ahead and take a look. I've got secondary utility, secondary offense, secondary utility strength. Okay, we'll take that one. And this one. Now, we don't have a secondary defense yet. I could take this one, which would give me maximum health points and +5 on con, but I would lose a little bit on my cooldown reductions and things of that nature. So we're probably going to end up selling that one, and still can't pick that up yet. But again, it doesn't matter for me. All right. Actually, that little cosmic box right there requires one of those keys to purchase that I talked about with you guys before. So I really couldn't care less about it. so if I turn off my travel power, and it takes a second for the cooldown, that's what that little whip around thing was down there on the T. I turn it back on, it'll fix the animation glitch that I just had. Yeah, I don't care, buddy. Here's another little... Where's the boss, dude? Oh, there he is. My peoples. By my peoples, I just mean bikers. I, very briefly, worked in a Harley-Davidson dealership. And what we did was we sold, we sold Harley-Davidson motorcycles, but I was on the sales board. I was mid-ranged. I never really... You guys might remember why I threw something at him. It's because there was that one dude trapped in the door. And I wanted him to come out of the door, and the only way you can do that is with ranged. So if you're playing a melee character like I was, pick up whatever you can pick up in the area, whether it's if you're weak, you might end up having to pick up a trash can. If you've got a little bit of strength, you can pick up a larger crate. But then from a distance, whatever distance you can, yeah, that's the thing I was telling you about in the last video that we did, where I thought that he sounded a little... I thought that there was a little sexual innuendo to the comments that he was making. I know they were going for kind of the cornball 1966 Batman styled verbiage, you know, the back in that day, everything was all corny and whatnot, and that's kind of what they were going for. But that particular line, I've penetrated the other side of the building. Let's trap these miscreants between us. Cryptic. Just saying. Alright, so I forgot to level up. Ranks and advantages. I could do the accelerated metabolism, which reduces the cost of each of these powers, but because I've actually given him recovery already, that becomes a moot point. So with this guy, I'm going to go with Rip and Tear. I can either do that with the Bestial Fury, which I believe is my energy builder, or I can go down here and give the Penetrating Strikes to Shred. And what that does, Penetrating Strikes and Rip and Tear, is it makes things, it adds stacks of bleeding. And you remember with our single sword guy, bleeding means that even when I'm not hitting my opponent, he is slowly bleeding out. So if I do enough damage up front to one guy, I can leave him and let him continue to bleed out while I'm fighting another guy. If I've got a crowd of people around me, the best way to deal out a bunch of damage is to stack a couple of bleeds on one of the weaker guys and then go after that boss and just, you know, really rip into him. Pun intended. So, what I might do... I I could just increase damage by boosting the shred or that other thing. I could also increase my regen, but I'm already... Ooh, versatility. While acrobatics is active, if you take damage, you will receive a stack of versatility. Versatility increases your movement speed for a short time. You can stack up to 5 times. So that's just if you want to regenerate and escape something. I don't need to escape because my regeneration, I mean, not regenerate, but if you take damage and you want to escape something, if you're an acrobat that doesn't have regeneration, you can take that versatility and it makes it to where it increases your, because when you're in combat, just like a lot of other RPG games, when you join into combat, it slows your character's speed down. He can't move as quickly. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 2nd level on, does this give me bleeding? Bestial Fury. Adds additional damage. Does not give me bleeding. So does Shred? Yes. If I boost Shred to level 2, it adds a stack of bleeding to it and it increases my damage. So that's the one we're going to spend our 2 points on. And because my guy is all kinds of about blood, all of his power is going to be red. What's up? Welcome, Junior, to the very last days of your life. Night Punk. All right. Okay, so the cool thing about this is that particular character that we just saw talk, I'm going to run in there in a minute. It's going to start the fight, but right now I'm just going to finish telling you this. That guy is connected to an NPC that is a mission giver later on in the game. And I'll talk about him more when we get to him later. But that whole setup right there, if you are a nerd, geek, fan of the 80s movies and campy comedy and stuff, you might recognize the vocal inflections, the high-pitched volume of it, and the Red Banner Gang, which is that whole Asian group right there, and we'll run into a few of them again in later episodes of this thing. The Red Banner Gang and one of the guys that you meet are all based on Big Trouble in Little China. So if you get a chance to watch that movie again, that's one of my favorite Kurt Russell movies. It's in my opinion, it's hilarious. I love it. I like Kurt Russell in a lot of his movies, and for those of us that are nerd, geek fanboys, he did a lot of great, and like some of my favorites are some of the ones that he doesn't even get a lot of love for. But I'm a big Kurt Russell fan. I like him, and I like Goldie Hawn too, his wife, and they've done a couple of movies together. I think the first one they did together was Overboard. They did a remake that sucked, but they tried to remake a film that was good by itself. Anyway, you see how those guys are still standing there? Watch what happens when I run in the room. Yeah, you got your little chain thing. This is the Red Banner gang. They've got foot soldiers and assassins and all kinds of interesting little assassins and dudes that were based off of a variety of kung fu pictures in the 80s, 70s and 80s back in the day. Constitution, intelligence, dexterity. Do I want dex? Do I want to go con with this one? Because that's got some strength in it too. I think we're going to take that one. All right. So we will accept that mission. Technically, that one's really simple. Let's just go talk to Kodiak again, and we're going to go back there in a little while anyway. So, from what we've done now, we need to go to, no? Yeah, that one. All right, hold on, my eyes bother me. All right. Oops. Oh, you shot at me. That was a bad idea, guys. Yeah. I'm sorry. You really did not want to do that. Dexterous eyepiece. The heck is that? Oh, it's just a tree. All right. So we'll go in here. Let me put that strength thing in, which I think is that one. Yeah, that's con and strength. Aquatic lockbox, another one. See where it says there that it requires a cosmic key of power? Those are things that cost actual cash in the store to unlock. So, boop. Discard all three. I don't really care. That gives dexterity and endurance. So, +5 endurance, +5 dex, but -5 strength and -5 ego. I think we'll just put this one in because we don't have anything in that slot, and we'll sell the rest of that stuff. And that filled up the, if you look, we'll open up the inventory again, that filled up the top three, or the secondary spots. So I've got secondary offense, secondary defense, and secondary utility filled. Hi. Bye. Now watch, he's just going to slowly bleed out there because I put like 3 levels of bleed on him. He'll drop on his own. Okay, and I can do that because I've got regeneration. I would not recommend those of you new players that have not gotten to the level where you have regeneration to just stand there and let him shoot at you while he bleeds out, because it is a slow process, as you saw. I could have taken him down a lot quicker, but I wanted to give you the what bleed actually does. Bye. Alright, so let's hit my P for powers. We will train up. I get a new power, and this time we're going to take the lunge ability. Well, there's pounce. Maybe that's what it was, pounce. Launch yourself through the air at your target, attacking and knocking them down. That is exactly the one that I wanted. So we will accept that one. Okay. And when you purchase ranks and advantages, you'll remember I've only got 1 point here, and I don't want to spend 1 point on... Because the accelerated metabolism idea for this guy, not that great of an idea for him. So I could take challenge, which makes them want to... It's like a taunt from City of Heroes, where it makes the opponent that you're fighting, it draws them in and makes them only want to fight you. If you're a guy that teams up, and you like to join a group of your friends and run through this stuff, then that's a good one for you to take. Because if you're going to be the regenerating tank damage dealer who's going to be up front, and you're going to have some blasters and healers in the back that don't want anybody on them, then you can take that ability, and when you see one of the bad guys run past you like he's going to go over there, attack him with whatever ability has that taunt on it, or what they call challenge, and it will turn him on you, and then you can keep all of the attention on you because you know you can soak that damage, especially if you've got a healer in the party, and you'll just let the blasters take everybody out, and you can just claw people that are in close to you to keep their attention on you and to help knock the damage up in the group and take everybody out. And if that's the type of player that you are, there are techniques that I'm going to show you about being melee that you're not going to need to worry about. Okay, I am a solo player in general. I like to run through my missions without a group of people with me. I'm not it's not that I'm not a team player. I don't like to join teams with people that I'm not familiar with. I have a lot of problems in games where you get the one idiot that's either he's not there to play the game. He's there to draw other bad guys in on top of you and create more problems than he's there to solve. If he's a member of the team and he's working as a team, doesn't go off on his own and start a fight and drag it in on top of you because he can't deal with it by himself, then I don't mind it so much. But I tend to end up with a bunch of I get a lot of the guys that either don't understand the mechanics of the game, or they're just being jerks. And whichever way this is, I don't have time for that mess. I'd rather just I'd rather just go out and deal with this on my own. So now I have a pounce ability, which there's a guy that's over there. See him? Behind the racks there? There he is. I'll target him. And because I leveled up, now they're all blue. I get a little bit closer and see how my the number 3 power, if you're looking over here down at the bottom, there's 1, 2, and 3. And those are actually on your numbers across the top of your keyboard. If I hit 1, that starts my energy building bestial fury power. If I were to hit 2 right now, I don't have a target that's in range, but that's my shred power. Okay, but the number 3 power is lit up. That means that the target is in range and the power will operate. So now you'll see what happens when a clawed hero uses his lunge ability, or his pounce ability, and what it looks like for this guy. All right. So that's the general idea on how this works. These guys down here are useless. He's got 2 little guys with him as the boss, and I think it's going to kind of slowly ramp up a little bit because of I outrank them power-wise. I have a cat over here on my crafting table. I'm just glancing to make sure he's not about to break my... I have a model that I started of a 1966 GTO. And it's sitting there on the crafting table. See how my... Look, watch when I run. See how that animation looks? That's not how he normally runs, right? So if I turn off my travel power and then activate it again, that's how he normally runs. He's got a friend around here somewhere. Maybe not. He is the villain. so everybody in this area is down. We will run on into the next room. And again, if you can, I've got my acrobatics on, and I keep trying to run through this area quickly so that I can get you through these missions and give you a chance to see those animations and hear what is said in game, get an idea of how this game sounds. But what you're seeing me do, where I am angling myself, is because of what I talked about in the last game with the blade. My shred ability can hit multiple targets at once, just like the slice ability of the single blade guy can hit multiple targets at once. But what you've got to do is you have to angle yourself where all of your targets are side by side in front of you, and you can do your swipe through all of them. And because my shred ability adds the stack of bleed to it, just like the slice ability, one or two hits and the minions are going down, and the boss. So I'm backing up. I'm getting the cutter, and that puts them all within the same general area. Alright, that's the henchman. There's the big boss. I see him now. Hi, boss. Also, the thing with the run, if it doesn't bother you, you don't have to turn off your power and turn it back on. For me, I'm just showing you how it could be done. It's not that you have to do it that way. Welcome, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Alright, so if I can kind of come up here just close enough. There. Now I can investigate that from a distance. And the only reason why I'm keeping a little bit of a distance from that table is so that while I'm investigating, I don't draw in those bad guys. And I don't know if I haven't done it to where I jumped right up on that table before. I don't know that they would come in at that distance, but I'm just not taking the chance. So here we go. Last 3 dopes in the room. Alright. We'll turn in this mission to Kodiak. Now with this guy, because of the power that he's got and the fact that I haven't picked up enough scratch yet to buy that bike, we're going to do a little street sweeping here. Also, I just kind of I kind of enjoy you see that when I got up close to that guy, how my guy's feet was running like this and he wasn't really moving forward as quickly? That's because I was still considered as in combat, and that's the game slowing us down, but they did not slow the feet animation to match the thought my bleed would take him out, and it never did. This guy is considered a master villain, so he's got 3 levels of health on him. See the little red lights beneath the guy I pounce? See how his feet have those little star-shaped red light things on it? That just means that my pounce has taken away his ability to move quickly, just like they can take away my ability. I have that too. Run across the rooftops here. Ignore the guys behind me, even though they might shoot at me. And go turn this into Kodiak. Hi, Kodiak. Alright. So, with this one, another good reason to have ignored the guys behind me is because they make for... Oops. Good way to get that hat. You don't have to pick up multiple hats. You can just pick up one of them and go on to the next group if you wanted. But if I do that, I'll show you something in a second. Alright, I didn't get any flashies from that guy, so these guys hopefully will. Alright, so I got 3 of them here, right? So if I say F and take all, I've got mine, but if I take off, I'm going to leave those 2 hovering exclamation points. And the next player that runs through here is just going to see these 2 hovering exclamation points that they're not able to pick up. So even though you don't get extras for taking them, I take them because it keeps the visuals for the next guy to show up looking clear, looking correct, right? Being a huge fan of superheroes and stuff, and these are the pants that I need, and that should be the end of it. I don't need that last one, which is just going to be another pair of the pants, but we will take it so that the next guy that comes through here to do this mission doesn't see hovering exclamation points that he can't pick up. Alright, I got something else for strength here. That's strength and intelligence. Alright, so we'll take the strength and intelligence one. Accept the Talos Tech down. That's plus to dexterity, but it would drop strength and ego. That's a plus to dex, but it'll drop strength and ego. That's strength and intelligence instead of strength and ego. I think I'm just going to leave this as is, and we're going to go over here to the store real quick. Go to my cells. Alright, so I have 1 global, 42 national, and 42... I'm sorry. Yeah, 42 national and 42 local. That's one of the high-speed running powers that gives you this glowing light behind you, but it also makes that odd kind of music noise, which I never understood why that's in there. It should be an option in the power to turn that off. And you can change the colors of your powers the same way you saw me do it. Like when I hit my P, right now my pounce is not changed in color. I can also hit train. What is that? Oh yeah, that's the one point that I don't need to worry about, so I'm not going to do that. But like I could just click on this one dot and change the color to red. Or if I'm wanting to do all of them to red, I just click this one square dot down here, and that will change all of everything to the red color that we're interested in for my bloody guy. So now before I go and finish this other mission, let's see if I can go buy one of those grav bikes yet. I may still not have enough resources, but since the game here that we're running is going to be for nope. Sometimes and I don't have my Twitch open, so I'm not looking at my chat. If you guys are watching me live and you're wanting to chat with me, I apologize. The only reason why the Twitch chat is not open for this stream is because this is this is basically a replay. So let's go into the store, go into the grav bikes. Do not have enough. The one that we liked was the Frost something. Frostburn 2. This device can only be used on outdoor maps. Attack, defense, and speed are available, but it won't let me purchase this yet. Why not? Do not have enough Frostburn. I don't understand. Let's go to the... You know what, let's do? Let's go to the store. Go to vehicles. Go to grav bikes. This is what I should have done to begin with. I didn't have to do this part. I could have just done it on the little store thing here. So the Model G is this. I don't really like the look on that. This is another one where you're leaning forward on the bike. That's actually pretty cool looking. That's the Scorpion. This is the Hornet. It's another one where you got to lean forward on it. This is the Liberty grav bike, which we saw in that other thing with the weird... See, he's leaning forward again, and this is more... That's not much of a grav bike. That's more of a car to me, because you could tell by the front. See, again, leaning forward. I don't... Ah. See this foot plate right down here? It makes me think he's going to be leaning forward on it again. I wish they had one where he could be sitting back, you know, kind of like Lobo does with his more of a cruiser-styled bike. But I kind of like the look of that one, and I kind of like the look of that one. Again, the foot plate's behind him. What do you guys think? Should I do the Wasteland Scorpion? Or should I just do the straight up Scorpion? Since I don't really have a chat open, I'm actually... Gosh, I think I'm going to go ahead and... Because other thing is Zen is... It actually costs money in the Champion Store to purchase online. But the longer you play the game, you also build up a small bank of Zen. So you'll notice in... well, you can't see it where you are. Let me move this up a little bit. In this bottom left-hand corner, I have 10,283 Zen built up. That's because I don't purchase anything that costs money out of the store typically. But this guy needs something like this, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it for him. Is this the regular grav bike? It is. Do I want the regular, or do I want that Wasteland? He's kind of an old school biker, dude. I might want the Wasteland. Let me cancel that. I'm going to buy him this one. It's the same cost. Yeah. That's the one he's going to buy. Alright, so now when you open up your inventory, you've got your grav bike here. This is actually an item. See all those little dots in there? If you have something that you can, like a fusion crystal and some things that you want to put in there, you can upgrade this if you want. I'm going to put this in my second spot there. I'm going to ditch this stuff out because, again, I don't use it. And now, just to kind of give you an idea, if I hit, because down here in the bottom right-hand side of my screen, you see it says C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5. So if I hold down Control and hit 4, that's my grav bike now. I'm going to skip that part and go straight to this part. And there's vehicle modifications. I can go take a course on vehicle mods later if I want to as well. But this will just make it to where I can get around town as if I was flying without actually having flight. And with my cursor here, I could click on it and turn it off. Or like I showed you a minute ago, I can just hit the hotkeys of Control 4 and turn it off. I can't use my numpad keys because I've set those for my movement. But you get the gist of the idea. Now if I do a Control 5, I put on my little stupid new Purple Gang outfit. Which is only necessary when you get into this first section of the room because of all of the Purple Gang baddies that are in here. You don't really want to end up fighting all of them at once. So now, because this guy regenerates, I am not at all worried about Junior's electrical abilities here. Oh, I lost some health. Oh, back. Never mind. Lost some health. Oh, no. Oh, it's back. Never mind. Oh, he's hurt me. He's hurt me. He's hurt me. Oh, no. Oh, it's back. Never mind. I'm going to have him down to half health, and I'm not even going to drop under the quarter mark. So now that that's done, I have to move just slightly. The only reason why you move slightly is because when I do an auto follow, if I don't move, when he goes to run out of the room, my character will turn and chase him out of the room. And there's no point in that. It's not worth it. Also, when you use the grav bike, you have to reactivate your movement power if you want it to. So do a Control 5, put back on the old Purple Gang outfit. Just for funsies. Screw it. I'm going to see how many I can take out. I may actually, with this guy. See, I'm dying here, but yeah, go ahead, back up next to him. That's beautiful. That means I can be hurting you both at the same time. I like that. I don't want to get knocked back because I don't have any more heals. So this could be the end of it for me. Or I might be able to just run around. Oh, no, I couldn't do it. Now the downside to having started that fight is when I recover. Oh, there's something there to pick up too. Let me exit that. When I recover, if I have anybody set to auto follow. Okay, I don't. So now I can do a Control 5, put back on the costume. Come up and pick that up. And I've cleared out the majority of this warehouse. So what the hell? I'm going to try to finish him off. Ripping that suit a new one. Hi, buddy. Been a while since you had this kind of violence on your hands, huh? Suit's more dark red than it is purple now. I think this, yeah, I've emptied it out. I've done that a couple of times with a couple of different characters, but typically you can't get through that area unless you are a regenerator who can deal some mega damage. All right, so I don't recommend doing what I just did, but with this guy, I had to give it a try. And you'll note in the top left-hand corner here, I am down a star. That's because they dropped me. But since I beat them, hopefully when I level up, all right, step out away from this. If I do a Control 4, you don't want to drop out of this, even though this guy regenerates, you don't want to drop out of the sky because like I told you before, it turned off your acrobatics. So now, ooh, plus 31 strength, but I'll drop 16 on my dex. Ah, worth it. So now I got to go save the scientists. Is that my strength thing? It is. Recovery and presence. I've already got constitution and recovery. That would give me a plus 0.2 to offense. The presence doesn't mean that much to me. This one I'll lose recovery and constitution, but I gain plus 13 to critical strike. Nah, not going to do it. go over here and talk to this guy. We're going to sell. Continue, go to the store, go to sell. I don't care about that, or that. Done. Now, I got to select the correct mission, which is going to be the out in the middle of the street here. Now this guy over here is now going to be down to light blue, which means he is just shy of useless to me. I would still get some XP for him, but it's not enough to really worry about. So let's go in the mission, because when you enter the mission, typically it levels up to you. Well, actually, with this one, the mission is if the mission shows white on over here on the right hand side of the screen, if the mission shows white, it means that it matches your level. If it's green, it's 2 below you, and if it's blue, it's 1 below you. Alright, I might be able to pick up the debris now. We'll see in a minute. No gunners over there, so this should be fine. What I mean by gunners is the guys that stand in the back and shoot at you from a distance. See where it says pick up debris this time? Watch this. So that big old giant hunk of rock right there, get a little bit closer. So if you're playing the tanky type, you know, Marvel Comics, you would think more Hulk or Sentry, Thor. If you're playing that tanky type of guy, it's better to have, so I'm going to fly there just because I can, Control 4. typically I stay out of their fight. And I probably should have with him. He didn't look like he's hurt at all, but what I'll do when I see people that are in the midst of a fight where they're just standing there is because I'm not quite sure if the person that is there has lagged, or maybe he doesn't have the what's the term, he got booted from the server or whatever. Something of that nature happened. In order to spare him the loss of a star, because he might fall, I'll take out the rest of the enemies that were around him. Then when he comes back and logs in, he'll still be okay. That guy, I didn't even bother to look. It's my bad. Remember when I said if you're strong enough you can pick up a forklift? No more forklifts around here. After a minute, that forklift will regenerate. It'll come back right there where it was, which is kind of cool if you want to play the type of super dope that constantly picks things up and throws them at people. Hit me again. Last shot. I'm not gonna, because it's copywritten music and I don't want to get in trouble with Twitch, I'm not gonna play it, but there's a song that I think of when I play this guy. Let's start a riot. Bet you wish you'd have thought of that just a second sooner than I did, don't you, buddy? Unfortunately for you. That's just the bestial flurry going off right there. This is the slashing one. feel like getting knocked back right now. Bye-bye. Another good thing about the pounce stopping him from moving away from me. A lot of these range guys will want to back up so that they can get a better shot at you. Alright, buddy. Henchman. Henchman. Alright. To wait for that third one. Yeah, I better pick up that health bar, huh? Look at my health. Yeah, I need that, huh? Alright, we'll get it. We'll get that too. Alright, let's pick up this forklift because I don't have any real range things except for my lunging thing. And I need to get them to come fight me in this hallway so I'm not fighting all of them at once. Pick up this one. And I'm going to go right at the minion. You get to listen to this. Take as much as you want, buddy. See, he bled out while I was trapped by his entangle. I'll soak that up. Then I'll go turn off his little gizmo. And that's the end of that mission. All right. Oh, I lost 179 health, and it was a mere blip in the radar. So now, pick up We want the Constitution, the Endurance, or the Presence. We can also take Recognition, but it's you go to a vendor and you can purchase stuff from them and at the Until vendors. I think Constitution is for your hit points. And with my regeneration being as strong as it is already, I don't really need more hit points. So I'm going to juice his energy up. And that puts me at level 10. Checking in with the chief. We will accept that. Alright. And we will go ahead and level up real quick. And with this one, ranks and advantages, I now have 3 points available to me. I've already boosted this once. I could boost this again. Pounce is a good one. Nailed to the ground means that when I do the pounce and I slash him, he can't move away from me, which is always a bonus. Primary target is blocking. Hit them with his attack, disables it for 10 seconds. This just juices up the damage that I do, and it can add strength to the snared ability, which is the thing that I told you. The little star that flashes at their feet that slows them down so they can't escape from me as quickly. It just adds a little strength to that to slow them down. I think what I'm going to do... I think I'm going to boost that to the second level. I'm going to leave that 1 point there. On the super stats, this is your secondary stat. I think I'm going to go ahead and take... Alright, see all these dudes that just came jumping in here? That's a guy that got himself in trouble, so he led the bad guys over to Kodiak, and Kodiak took them all out for him. You can do that as well. I've never needed to do that, but it's an option. So with intelligence, it reduces my energy cost and cooldown times from my powers refreshing, which is nice because with regeneration, I'm already hard to kill. If my powers refresh quicker, it'll be easier for me to continue using them and stay in the fight. So that's a thought. I don't think of this guy really as intelligent per se, but he might be smart about how he uses his energy consumption in a fight. This helps your ranged knock strength, hull resistance, and ranged damage. I don't really have any ranged damage except for my pounce, so I'm not really worried about that. Ego is presence, increase the hold strength, healing strength, and crowd control strength. Recovery. That's what I took on the secondary last time. Increase energy equilibrium, energy gain from energy building attacks, health regeneration, and slightly increase your maximum energy. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and make that his next thing. Specializations are these. This is going to be the same thing we had before. Combat training gains extra for critical strike, which is always fun if you've got that bleed going on. Gear utilization increases the amount of offense and defense that you receive from items by 6%. Brush it off increases your chance to dodge AoE attacks by 5%. So somebody hitting an area of effect target is, lobbing a grenade over or blasting me with an entangle type thing. It gives me a chance to avoid it. Power swell, you get a critical strike. The cost of your next damage or healing power activation is reduced by 5%. I'm more a damage dealer, so we're going to do that. And then, what's the talents? This is the secondary one. Last time I took strength. This time, let's do Dex and Recovery. Which is that? And we already know we're not going to use the last point off of that one right now. But because I took some new stuff, I've got some things here that are not red. There we go. So he's all set and ready now to run over and talk to the chief. And I can walk over there or run over there with my acrobatics on and start the chief missions if I wanted to. But for this evening, I have accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I've given you guys an audio, hopefully, of what's going on in the game. You could hear this one, and that's the important thing. So I think I'm going to call it a night. I live in Texas, and right now it is 11:30 at night, and my wife is already in bed asleep, and I think I'm going to go up there and join her. So y'all have a good evening, and talk to you again soon.